This is a day of my life as a writer. So I ended up waking up at 9 and decided to just go on a run upstairs. We are going to be ignoring the bottle caps on the floor. Afterwards, I ended up taking a quick shower and walked my dog outside for a few minutes. And when I got back, it was not even noon yet, so I decided to film TikToks. Here's me trying to see if I can catch it. I didn't believe I could do it, so I did it again, and voila, I have skills. Here's fun behind the scenes, and while I was doing that, I killed a fly. Afterwards, I had a protein shake and also coffee. Now for the fun part of my day, I went outside. I shamelessly also watched some episodes of my K-drama before finishing yesterday's chapter. Quick moment of satisfaction. By 5:30, I wrote a few hundred words for my next chapter, but then I had to start preparing for dinner, so I went back into the house. While the food was on the stove, I decided to write some more, but then had to go check on the food, so I decided to call quits until after dinner. Here's a fun sneak peek of my dog. And then back to writing, while also listening to All Too Well. Again, coffee. By 9:30, I had over 3,000 words written, and then by 11:30, I finished the chapter. I was exhausted.
Writer's tip number 74. When choosing your notebook to jot down all of your incredible ideas, it is tempting to go to the store and buy one of these super beautiful and fancy books. Don't do that. What you want to do instead is go to the dollar store, take a look around. Most of the notebooks are ugly, but every once in a while you find one that's actually pretty cute. Like this one, $2. This next part might bring you physical pain. Go to that beautiful first page and ruin it. That's right. I said ruin it. That's what you want to do. Now you don't have to worry if your ideas are not good enough for the book. All ideas are welcome.
Hi, do you mind if I ask you a question for a documentary I'm filming?
Sure.
Do you have a favorite book?
My favorite book is Before We Were Strangers by Renee. I forget her last name, but it's a romance novel.
What did you like about it the most?
I like the dialogue and the descriptiveness of it and the romance, obviously. And that's what this book's about too, and this one too. I read novels about romance.
All of my best writing advice all in one video. You're going to want to save this one. You need to start letting writing interrupt your life. There's something really noble and exciting about sitting down and saying, oh, I'm going to be writing XYZ amount today. But realistically, I have never been nearly as inspired by my laptop as I am when I'm out on a long walk or doing the dishes or taking a shower. Your most remarkable writing is probably going to start when you're not writing at all. So let it go down in the notes app or jot it on the back of your hand when you're in the middle of shopping at Target. Beautiful things usually don't arrive when we're planning on them. Write the same way that you talk, and talk as much as your social battery will allow you to. Call your mom or call a friend or just talk to yourself. Voice memos and voice to text are really helpful tools. So much of writing is just noticing. So notice the words that you use a lot. Notice the sentence structure you tend to rely on. None of it is good or bad. It's just you. If you're having trouble finding your voice, you're probably not listening to yourself enough. And on that note, quit trying to write like other people, unless you're a ghostwriter, in which case, proceed. But even then, you deserve to have your own authentic voice separate from the work that you're contracted to do. Every rule has an exception. Remember that the next time you pick up a book on the craft of writing. Stephen King doesn't get to tell you when the best time of day to write is, so if you're not a morning pages person, don't be a morning pages person. Jotting down a cool combination of words when you're out walking your dog is just as valid as waking up with the sun. No one gets to tell you what's right for you in your writing practice. Not me, not Stephen King, not your writing professor. There's no one way to write. Write what you know, but more importantly, write who you know. You're gonna have much more authentic characters if your characters are essentially Frankensteins of people you already know in real life, and that could and should include yourself. A lot of people have a lot of ideas about self-inserts, and I'm not saying that you should write yourself into the book, but you should write parts of yourself into your book. Because the best way to commit to your writing is to connect to your writing, and the best way to connect to your writing is to feel like you are in it. That way, ignoring your writing will feel like ignoring part of yourself. So you'll be more likely to actually finish the project. You don't need that many characters, just in general. My mom used to always quote this one Coco Chanel line about like taking off one piece of jewelry or one article of clothing before you left the house. Treat your manuscript the same way. You have at least one character who doesn't need to be there. Surround yourself with writers you admire, but more importantly, surround yourself with writers you actually like. There is no shortage of writers groups that are built entirely off of insufferable Doctor Who fans. And if that clicks with you, go with God, but I will not be there. Just because someone is talented does not mean they have to be your friend. Whoever you are, whatever your neuroses, there are writer friends out there for you. Also, whenever possible, try to connect with writers who approach writing differently than you do. They'll give you a new perspective on the page. If you are an anxious person, outline. Completing an outline feels like finishing the pie crust before you finish baking the whole pie. It gives you a little sense of satisfaction and completion before you do the whole effort of writing the whole book. For me, outlining supercharges the rest of my writing process. But if outlining isn't for you, then don't outline. Again, no one right way to write. Remember, your outline is a blueprint, not a GPS. Some very interesting ideas bloom on the scenic route. So follow your tangents, even if they get cut. Maybe 1 in every 10 times you will stumble upon some genius. You're not always gonna love it, but there's no such thing as pushing through burnout. Sometimes what you need to do is close your laptop, walk away, and go watch some TV. Watching TV makes you a better writer, and if you disagree, fight me on it. Drop a promise a third of the way through your writing, and then pick it up right before you wrap up. It'll wow them every time. Your first draft is supposed to be bad. And if it's not bad, then good for you, but it's still gonna be edited. Stop being so mean to yourself. You don't need Scrivener, you don't need a Moleskine, and you don't have to use the Save the Cat model. And if you don't know what any of these things are, you're probably better off. And when you tell someone about your writing and they say, oh, like so-and-so's book or like so-and-so's poem, that's a good thing. Even when sometimes it feels like crap. You are like other writers, and thank God you are.
Books featuring nobility are so fun to read, but as a European, I too often notice the same glaring mistakes over and over. Many authors don't seem to know the difference between a duke and a viscount, so here's the ranking of nobility in Europe. King, queen, prince, princess, duke, duchess, marquis or marquess or marchioness. Next comes the earl or the count in some countries, or countess. Finally, viscount and viscountess, and baron and baroness. After that, you have the gentry and lower nobility, which include things like knight, esquire, and gentleman or lady. P.S. Royalty and nobility are not the same thing. Royalty includes the immediate family of the king and queen. Nobility includes a variety of ranks and titles, so royals are noble, but nobles aren't necessarily royal. Writers often get confused between hereditary nobility and titles that are conferred by the ruler, which are often not passed down. Next mistake is incorrectly addressing nobles verbally. This is how it works in English. You address the king or queen as your majesty initially, and then sir or ma'am thereafter. A prince or princess is your royal highness initially, and then sir or ma'am as well. You call a duke or duchess your grace, or duke or duchess. All other noble ranks are known as lord, lady, or your lordship or ladyship. Knights are sir, or sir plus first name. Ladies are my lady, or lady first name. And a dame, which is a title conferred by the monarch, is either madam or dame first name.
Hamilton wrote the other 51. How do you ride like you're running out of time? Right day and night like you're running out of time. Every day you fight like you're running out of time. Like you're running out of time, or you're running out of time. How do you ride like tomorrow won't arrive? How do you ride like you needed to survive? How do you ride every second you're alive? Every second you're alive, every second you're alive.
And then you caught my eye, giving me the feeling of a lightning strike. Look at me now, I'm floating. I can't even toss this stuttering. This ground I'm on, keep shaking. Oh, 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 now!
There's so much I want to say, but I don't know where to start.